Hi people, it's me Anja. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to a new video. I'm so excited to film today's video because if you didn't know, fantasy is my top favorite genre. So as a result, I read a lot of queer fantasies. So accumulating books for this list was very easy. So let's just get started. The first book on this list is called Dangerous Remedy. This story is a YA historical fantasy story that follows two girls who are both part of a band of outcasts who rescue people who are about to be guillotined because it's set during the French Revolution. However, their latest rescue doesn't quite go the way that it usually does. This book is absolutely so good. First of all, the two girls are in a sapphic relationship. We love to see it. Second of all, the world building is so awesome and incredible. Third of all, both characters are so well developed and distinct. I'm so excited to read the sequel. I think it comes out in June or something like that, but at any rate, I'm so excited because this book was so good. I was so interested every single step of the way by the plot, by the world building, by the character dynamics, by the group. You know what I mean? Like, the group dynamic was so cool and I really enjoyed every single character in the group because this book is just so good and it's so underrated. And for what, I really enjoy historical fantasy because it's a blend of two of my favorite genres, fantasy and historical fiction, and this book was no exception because it was absolutely so good, and I really enjoyed the world building, the plot, the characters, and like I said, I am so excited to read the sequel. So with that, I would highly recommend this book. The next book on this list is called Ship of Smoke and Steel. This story is YA fantasy and it follows a young girl who's sent on a mission that's almost impossible to steal a legendary ghost ship, and she must do it or else her sister might die. This story was absolutely so good. I really enjoyed it. The queer element of this book is that the main character is bisexual and her romantic relationship is a sapphic relationship, so we love to see it. The world building in the story was absolutely so good. I was so intrigued by the plot and the world building and the character development. The sapphic relationship was so cute and so fluffy, and I just really enjoyed seeing their dynamic develop over time. You know what I mean? Because their chemistry is so good, and I just really enjoyed it. And the main character is such a well-developed, distinct character. This book is the first in a trilogy, and this trilogy is so good. Like, I read this trilogy very recently, and it's absolutely so good, and it's so underrated, and for what? Because it's absolutely so good. The plot, the world building, the character development, the sapphic romantic relationship, all of these elements blended so well together, you know what I mean? Like, this book is so good, and with that, I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called The Neville Tilting World. This book is YA fantasy and follows two daughters of two goddesses who are both desperate to heal their broken world. However, there are four character perspectives in this book, and two of those characters are both in a sapphic relationship together, if that makes any sense. Anyway, this book is so good. I had really low expectations before going into this book because I think that I had previously DNF books by this author, so I wasn't expecting to absolutely just love this book so much. This story is so good. Like I said, there are four character perspectives, and each character is so distinct and well developed, and I just really enjoyed it. You know what I mean? The world building in the story is so well done. The action-packed, fast-paced plot is so intriguing, and I was just hooked and immersed every single step of the way. The sequel to this book was also really good, so we love to see it. This duology is so underrated, and for what, it has such a great representation in it. It has such a great world in it, you know what I mean? This book has it all. It has a great atmosphere, great characters, great romances, great plot. It has great everything. So with that, I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Ace of Shades. This story is YA fantasy and follows two characters, Anne and Levi, who meet because Anne is looking for her missing mom, and her only lead is Levi, so she heads to the city of Sin, which is a fictional city inspired by Las Vegas. And Ed is from finishing school, so going to the city of Sin is a bit out of her element, so it's kind of like a fish out of water kind of situation, you know what I mean? Which is honestly one of my favorite tropes. But anyway, Levi is not quite the gentleman that she expects him to be, because he's a con man. He's also bisexual, which is what the queer element of this story is. But at any rate, this story is so good. This trilogy is literally one of my favorite trilogies because it's absolutely so good. The world building, the writing, the plot, the two characters are so well developed and distinct. This book and this trilogy really solidified Amanda Foody as one of my favorite authors. I already knew that I loved her writing because I had read her debut book prior, but this trilogy is so good. I absolutely loved it because I love the world building, I love her characters, I love her setting, I love her writing, I love her plots. This book is so good and it's so underrated and for what, and I absolutely love it. So with that, I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is Cemetery Boys. I feel like I don't really need to explain the synopsis of this book because this book is literally so popular that everybody knows what it's about. But if you've been living under a rock for the past 8 months or so, this book is a YA contemporary fantasy about a young transgender Latinx boy determined to prove his true gender to his traditional family, and to do that, he accidentally summons a ghost. This story is absolutely so incredible. Aiden Thomas is so talented. I love the writing so much because I love the world building, I love the character development. The romance in this story is so cute. It's so cute and so fluffy and just so good. This book deserves all of its hype and so much more because it's absolutely worth it. The representation in the story is so well done, and you can truly tell that this book is own voices. You know what I mean? Because this book is so good. I really enjoyed the world building, the plot, the romance, the representation, the characterization. Every single element of this book is so incredible. This author is so talented and I love them. You know, Cemetery Boys is so good. So with that, I would highly recommend it if for some reason you haven't read this book yet, because please go read it. The next book on this list is also really popular, and it is The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. This book is actually adult fantasy and not YA like the rest of the books on this list, and I typically don't really read adult books, but I read this book because I really enjoyed The Night Circus, and I really thought that nothing could top Night Circus because I also really loved The Night Circus literally so much. But then I read The Starless Sea, and I realized that Starless Sea is so incredible. It follows a young boy. Well, he's not really young because he's an adult and he's in university. But anyway, it follows Zachary, who's in university, like I said, and he finds his name in a book that's like a history book in his library. And honestly, that's all you need to know. I know the synopsis sounds super vague, but I feel like that's all you need to know. You know what I mean? Like, you don't really need more detail. All you really need to know is this book is incredible. It's absolutely awesome. The world building is so unique and wonderful. Erin Morgenstern is literally so good and so talented. The main character is gay. We love to see it. This book is so good, and the romance in this story is so cute and so wonderful. And like I said, I know the synopsis for the story. It's absolutely so super vague and probably gives you absolutely nothing, but this book is so incredible. So with that, I would highly recommend it. I think it's absolutely one of my favorite books of all time. So yeah, there you have it. The last book on this list, but certainly not the least, because again, it's also one of my favorites, is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I love this book so much. It's a YA fantasy and it follows 6 characters who all must band together to pull off an impossible heist. This book is so good. If you didn't know, half of those characters are queer. So Nina and Jesper are bisexual and Wylan is gay. We love to see it. This book is so good. I am so excited for this TV show. I think it comes out when you're watching this in 3 days, which is so incredible. You know what I mean? I've been waiting for this TV show for like 3 years. Anyway, this book is so good and it's absolutely worth all the type and so much more. Leigh Bardugo is so good. I love her literally so much. I read the Glacier Trilogy first and I knew that Leigh Bardugo would be one of my favorite authors, and I literally thought that Six of Crows would not be better than the Glacier Trilogy because I really thought that there was no way that Six of Crows can be better than the Glacier Trilogy because I love the Glacier Trilogy literally so much. But then I read Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, and then I realized that Leigh Bardugo is not a fluke, and her writing is literally so incredible because this duology is so good. All of these characters are so well developed and distinct, and I love them. I love each and every single one of them. I just love them. This series is so good. Leigh Bardugo is so good at crafting a world, crafting 6 distinct characters that you're so emotionally attached to. You know what I mean? Her plot is so well developed. I love her so much. So with that, I would highly recommend Six of Crows if you haven't read it already because it's absolutely incredible. So with that, there's that. So like I said at the beginning of this video, fantasy is my favorite genre, so there will probably be a part 2 to this video in the future. So stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below the giraffe emoji if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.